Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the home of the Slightly Above Average Ship Review. I am your reviewer, KPZ1234. Yep, today we're going to do a tech tree spotlight on the French Tier 5 destroyer Guepard. The reason I'm choosing to do this is because in the campaign that is starting, you're going to get a French destroyer halfway through the campaign, the Sirocco. Probably mispronounced that. And the Sirocco has the main battery reload booster. So I wanted to show you the Guepard. It is a tier higher than the Sirocco, but it also has a main battery reload booster. And it is one of two tech tree ships in the French destroyer tech tree, the other being the Vauquelin that I run the base commander on. And the reason is to get a second main battery reload booster. Now, legend has it on PC that these things have um, several main battery reload boosters. We are here on Trap in a domination match, and we're just going to head towards Alpha. And so I use these because I found that outside of when they're using the main battery reload booster, these ships really don't have great DPM. I really like their guns a lot. They do good HE damage. They're generally pretty accurate. French destroyers, generally speaking, also have very powerful torpedoes. However, you do not have a smokescreen. So you're running a risk when you run the base commander with fully packed because we are not using unstoppable either. All right, you can see out here we've got a Königsberg and a battleship of some sort way in the distance. Obviously, cruiser, most dangerous ship to my destroyer, so I am encouraging my teammates to shoot at him and will torp if he turns in at the island. But here a destroyer pops up, Sabrazatelny, a very dangerous Russian destroyer. Even though it is a tier down, I immediately engage my main battery reload booster. We get some of it on the Sabrazatelny, but then we had to pull away because he went into a smoke screen. And that's really the main defense, other than turning away, is to go into a smoke screen for that destroyer. There you can see the cruiser blundered into our torpedoes. The Sabrazatelny is still around there. This Tennessee, don't want anything to do with that. So we are going to turn back in towards the enemy smokescreen. And we are going to do a review of the ship in the port and the commander build, just FYI. So what can you expect from the Sirocco, in my opinion? Well, it might be a little more concealable than the Guepard, and we're braking hard to avoid these torpedoes and getting back on target with the Sabrazatelny. As you can see here, if you're not familiar with French destroyers, you have to show a flat broadside to get all 5 gun barrels on target, and that is very disappointing. Also leaves you open to being damaged, like we were by that Tennessee there. So we'll borrow what's left of this smoke screen real quick and launch some torpedoes. And he is kiting away, doing a pretty good job, not giving us a lot to work with. And we will torp out again and get these guns back on target. And again, the battleship is doing the damage there, not really the destroyer. All right, so as you can see, we have our other main battery reload booster available for use. However, I don't really want to use that if I can help it. We did get a torpedo strike on the Tennessee and a second torpedo strike on the Tennessee. And I'm expecting the Sprazzatelny to have no imagination and to come around and that side of the island and confront the healthy destroyer here. And maybe we can pick him off as we visit this lovely island paradise. There's the Sprazzatelny. He is almost dead. And our teammate, the Menikazi, finishes him off. All right, so the Tennessee is still out there. We can stop backing up now. And he's getting torped at, so he may be dead. I have slept since I recorded this game, so I don't remember exactly what happened. So back to this Roku, I didn't really, I mean, I looked at it on PC, but I didn't really look at it. So it's probably going to be similar to the Jaguar, maybe with a longer reload, and then have that main battery reload booster. And so I do intend to use the base commander on that ship. And in terms of the other French destroyers, we know the Kleber is getting a significant nerf, 25% range nerf on the torpedoes. Really quickly, while we're going after the Texas or this ship over here, I just want to say I think from 8 to 6 is too much. I would have been okay with 7. A lot of other, a lot of, or some of the other destroyers in the French line have 7 kilometer torpedoes. That would make sense. To me, 6 kilometers is just too much. The Kleber does not have the DPM to sustain being a pure gunboat, in my opinion. Um, and it doesn't have the ballistics at range like the Russian ships do. You watch my Minsk video, you know, you can get a good idea of how good the Russian guns are at extreme range, and the French ships don't have that. The destroyer shells tend to get a little floaty at around 8 kilometers, so I, I just think it's a bad nerf, and I would have been okay with it from 8 to 7, but 8 to 6 is just too much, in my opinion. And as a result, it's going to achieve the desired effect. A lot of the average players, like myself, will play the Kleber very sparingly. A lot of good players will figure out a way to make it work. But as a result, the performance of the Kleber, it's probably going to go up because the only people left using it will be good players. All right, 1, 2, 3 torpedo strikes on the Texas. High caliber, devastating strike, kill number 2. All right, so we're going to hit this engine boost. Be aware that when you're engine boosting in a French destroyer, if you're unfamiliar, your maneuverability takes a hit. We're just trying to get over in between Bravo and Charlie and engage some of these ships. I am loath to engage the Furitaka in our damaged state, so that is why I'm just kind of shadowing the Minakaze here. So I use Oboino in the Kleber. I use oh gosh, what's Violet? I use him in the Terrible, and I'm going to use the base commander Dartige Dufournet in the Sirocco. Now, Le Terrible, let's talk about that for a second. I made a couple different Le Terrible videos, I want to say. Um, Le Terrible has a quick enough reload where it doesn't need a main battery reload booster. I think it is in a very good place. I think it's an excellent destroyer. I really think if you haven't dipped your toes in the French destroyers yet, yeah, they take a little bit getting used to. The Eagle, probably the easiest destroyer for people to use because it does have traditional 2 smokes and 2 engine boosts. But Le Terrible is definitely, in my opinion, the strongest. Aside from the Colbert, I really don't count the Kleber the same as the others because that's a legendary ship you can get through the Bureau as opposed to a premium ship you're going to be purchasing. So Eagle, easiest for beginners. Le Terrible, probably the strongest. So it'll be interesting to see how the Sirocco performs. As you can see here, we torped at the Exeter. I probably shouldn't have shot at him, but it's the last ship, so we do have armor piercing loaded. As you can see, we're not getting pens. And so I probably should have switched to AG, but I'm just maybe hoping to get a Citadel here. Yeah, these are bad ideas. I should have been shooting HE. So I'm going to turn away as he's focusing on me right now. And then our friend, the Minakaze, torps out at him. It's a good thing I turned away right there. because as you can see, if I had remained flat broadside, I would have been dead. Minakaze hits him with a torpedo. Our torpedoes were coming from farther away, but that's all good. They do so much damage that boom, down goes Fraser. All right, we are going to go to the victory screen here in a minute. I hope that gameplay gave you an idea of why the base commander is a good idea in a French DD with a main battery reload booster. High caliber metal, two devastating strike metals, 104,176 total damage, eight torpedo strikes, three big kills, over 240,000 silver, 5306 ship XP, and commander XP. And there we are at the top of the board in the Guepard, 2358 with those three big kills. So again, if you use the base commander and don't use Unstoppable, you're running a risk. Wanted to say, good game by that guy. Let's go look at the Guepard. We use the main battery mod 2 and the propulsion mod 2. And the Guepard is fully upgraded. You got two charges of that main battery reload booster and three charges of the engine boost. Get that common battle booster for speed. Got a permanent type 1 camo. You know, it does have real camo, but I don't think that's ever been available. And the early adopter flag. 17,200 hit points with our build. Get those five 139mm guns, 10.6 km firing range, 5.9 second reload, 19.6 second turn time. So you really need that turret traverse. 2064 HE damage with an 11% fire chance. AP shells do 2600 damage. And if you can get those in close, they're good. Get those two triple tube launchers, reload every 87 seconds, do 18,400 damage. I think that's the second most damage behind the Japanese. 7 km range at 59 knots, detectability 1200 meters. Here's a Achilles heel of French destroyers, no smoke and horrible AA. 38.5 knots with our build, 680-meter turning circle, 4-second rudder shift time, and concealment 5.4 on the surface, 3.2 from the air, 2.7 when firing in smoke. All right, here's a look at our commander build. We do have Bay and Swirsky as the inspirations. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like, and maybe this is a build you're going to use in the Sirocco if and when you get it. I think it's going to be a good ship when I achieve it, and I'm not planning to whale for it. I will put a video up. The rest of this month, we're going to go through Japanese destroyer tech tree, and some of the Japanese premiums haven't done already. Already got Asashio and Yukikaze videos out, so we won't be doing those ships again. But the rest of the Japanese tree will be explored in the rest of this campaign's time period in terms of the videos plan to put up. So see you then. Thanks so much.